Hi there, and welcome to Elevate Your Wellbeing Contagious Care. Well, we are following today after doing morning routines last session 2 weeks ago. We're going to look today at evening routine. How can we create the ultimate evening routine that brings out the best night's sleep and the best day ahead? So tell me already what you consider to be a great evening routine. Hi Phil, welcome. Please come on in, the others who are here, and just let me know you're here and what you do for an evening routine that gives you a really good night's sleep. Love to hear your comments in the chat box. So it's interesting how we can just let the night go and hop into bed without even considering what we do to bring on the best night's sleep, because sleep is so essential, isn't it? A good night's sleep is an essential condition for a successful morning and a productive day. Would you agree with that? Just put that in the chat box, yes or no, if you agree in how essential it is to create a great day, starting from when you first wake up in the morning. What might be your evening habits already? What do you do already that clear your thoughts and set your mind for well-being and success before you actually go to bed? Oh, Christine saying, finally you've made it live. Fantastic. Good to have you here, Christine. So just add what you do already to create a great evening routine for yourself. Because in this session, we're going to look at the exact things we do before we go to bed, particularly in that last hour, what we do, and I'm going to explore 5 steps that will give you an ultimate evening routine for you to get the very best sleep and get the best out of your next day. So just like the morning routine we explored last session, the evening routine I've created in an acronym also. So it's in the acronym of NIGHT, okay? NIGHT. And the first one is N for no phone or devices. Okay, N is for no. So what do you put a mandate on in saying, no, I'm not going to do this before bed because it's going to just disturb my sleep? I, for one, put no scary movies. I don't watch scary movies anytime because for some reason it just doesn't do me any good. So it's only been in the last 10 years actually that's happened for me. I loved thrillers and detective movies and whatnot, but now, no, I don't need that, and especially before bed. So what are the things that you want to eradicate out of your last hour before going to bed to give you a better, peaceful night? So there's a few no-nos that's researched in order to make excellent evening routines to get the best out of your sleep. And I'm going to ask you, what no-nos do you put in your evening category? So they say really clearly, no phones or other devices 1 hour before bed. So instead, what can you do differently that will make up for the missing of those devices? Okay, you could connect with your partner, have really lovely conversations, soothing conversations. If you don't have a partner, you could read in bed, get that fantastic book. It's suggested that we read roughly for about 20 minutes, and it needs to be a peaceful book particularly if we're having trouble sleeping. Some people can get by with reading thrillers. I know my husband can, but you be the judge. You're the best judge of what your mind needs to really calm down before sleeping. They say without a shadow of a doubt that reading is the ultimate night routine. This is your time to enter the world of timeless literary wisdom. And I know I find just peaceful reading. I'll have a devotion. I'll read a couple of really, encouraging verses from the Bible sometimes, and just really soothe my mind before sleeping. So if you need more stimulus, here are some reasons why reading is among the best of evening activities. If you need more encouragement to know why reading is fantastic, here's the research. First, reading does a much better job at increasing your brain's fatigue, because you want your brain to fatigue at this time. And reading does a much better job of that than the TV. Why? Because it's impossible to read and do something at the same time. It requires focus. Reading requires focus. Jane's written Me Too, and that is regarding what, Jane? Just help me just elaborate on that a bit more. So with focus, your eyes and your mind with reading are focused on the one activity, accelerating that act of subduing your thoughts, and thereby your brain gets ready for sleep by just focusing on one thing. And there's some really inspiring things to read, when you think about it, in just soothing your mind. So secondly, reading is synonymous with stillness, right? You can't do a whole lot of other things when you're reading. It's synonymous with stillness and rest. Have you ever tried to read and do something else at the same time? It's impossible, isn't it? Jane's saying, I always read for 20 minutes or I listen to an audiobook. That always sends me off to sleep. Yeah, I really like audio stories. I'll listen to some sleep apps, sleep app. And that they'll have beautiful stories. And I go off into other parts of the world sometimes and I'm just off to sleep with these beautiful stories. So yeah, it's finding that thing that really gets you off to sleep. And if you're having trouble, it's okay to use those apps. That's what they're there for. So reading will instill tranquility in your mind, and it'll simplify the act of shutting down your thoughts, because that's what stops people sleeping. They have their thoughts racing, and reading will secure that uninterrupted restfulness. So what other no-nos might there be other than your devices, your phone and other devices? Tell me in your chat box, what other things are your no-nos before sleep? They say, and really important to think about this, no alcohol or food in that hour before bed. Because your body then works at digesting rather than just resting. No strong lights or noise. That seems an obvious one, but it's only recently that John and I have really focused on keeping our bedroom dark as we go to bed. We'll have a hot shower beforehand. That often helps as well. Just, I find that really soothing. But finding soft, relaxing music can be helpful to soothe your thoughts, but no noise, no intense or problem-solving discussions either. That put the brain on high alert. You don't want to be having those planning meetings in bed. This is the time to soothe yourself and your inner thoughts. So remember what you did as a parent with your beautiful children as you are putting them to bed. I used to caress the eyebrow of my children, and just as I was reading them stories, or just as we just had that soothing conversation after the story, and I caressed the eyebrow, and I just, that is just such a tender area there. There's other areas that I find soothing here on the inside of my arm. You might just want to soothe yourself as you go to bed. It's something that you can do all on your own, and it's so easy. And if you just go back to those rituals, the sort of rituals you did have or you do have with your kiddies now, you deserve those rituals as well. So the next routine is intention. I for intention. Set your intention for the next day the night before. Have you ever thought about that? Just as you set your alarm the night before, you can set your intentions the night before. What are some of the intentions that you speak out in your mind before you go to bed? Just put in the chat box anything that you are intentional about. In that last, might just be before you're going to bed. If you're having a shower, what thoughts do you have in your mind as you're getting ready for bed? So there's two ways of setting intentions. Have a guess what they are. Put in the chat box. Two different types of intentions. I'll help you out. One is physically setting them, and the second one is mentally setting them. So let's look at physically setting them first. You can create your checklist, check your to-do list, okay? And what you need to do the next day. So this is way before you go to bed, way before you have your shower and do all of that routine. This is while you're still in the kitchen, cleaning up, whatever. Monitoring your to-do list is a really important thing. It's an integral section of my night routine. Who of you writes a to-do list before you get to your bedroom? Just put in the chat box. Yes, if you do that. If you've completed at the end of the day, if you go back to your calendar or whatever you use and you find that you've completed 4 out of 5 essential tasks, you can actually go to bed knowing that your day was a success. Whether you've had to postpone particular to-do things or add new ones to your plans for the next day, as you prepare for that next day, you are actually in the evening setting up your day for success. So it's a really crucial evening habit. Who uses that already? If you can draft a new to-do list, that's among the best evening activities to set the foundation for a productive morning. Another thing to do is prepare your outfit for the next day. I know it sounds crazy, but if you actually feel productive, one of the easiest ways to feel productive at night is to get your clothes ready for the next day. That'll save you valuable time in the morning and also eliminate a stress factor right from the get-go. Another great habit I've found is to organize my exercise clothes for the next day. Believe me, you'll have less time to make excuses when it feels like it's too hard to get up for that early exercise class. I used to go cycling at 7 a.m. with a friend before we started work. So it was an hour or an hour and a quarter that we would do of fast cycling, and every minute for me counted to get the extra sleep I needed before I arose to do that. So what did I do? Put my cycling gear out on the floor, just so that all I had to do was get in those clothes rather than get my brain into gear to find the clothes already. Okay, so it's organizing right from the evening what you want to do in the morning that you can just do quickly without having to have your brain going at 100%, capacity first thing in the morning. Because I don't know about you, but my brain certainly doesn't go at 100% capacity. I'm lucky if it goes at 10%. So that putting out the clothes gives you the extra minutes, extra sleep, but also a better sleep, knowing that I was all ready for the morning without having to get my brain into gear to find the clothes. So what rituals have you found helpful in preparing for the next day, the night before? Clothes are interesting things in how they can make us feel. Jane's saying, Wayne. Hi, Wayne. Good to have you here. So we're just checking in and saying what rituals we set up in the evening in order to make a successful day, starting from the moment you get up in the morning. And clothes are interesting things because they psychologically help us to feel in different ways. Put yes in the chat box if you find your work clothes create a sense of continuity and professionalism. Your business clothes can help you think in a business type of way, and they prevent your mind from adopting a recreational mood. And similarly, when evening comes, once you put on your night clothes, your mind will be able to shift towards that relaxed state. Who of you have tried this before, putting your night clothes on early to get into that relaxed state? Does it make you feel relaxed? I'd just be curious to hear from you. I remember when I was back over 10 years ago now, when I was clinical coordinator for Relationships Australia, I was often woken up in the morning by ABC Radio and other stations to report on any relational topic that had been newsworthy the day before. So not being an early morning person, this absolutely terrified me when it first started. It was hard enough speaking to the media spontaneously, but worse still when it takes me at least an hour for me to get my brain into gear. John would say 2 hours. I remember the phone would go and I'd clamber to it. This was about 6:45. And they'd tell me what they wanted to interview me on. And I'd request 5 or 10 minutes, upon which I would wash my face, throw the cold water over me. I'd jog on the spot and jot down a few key pointers for the topic of what was, newsworthy the day before, and radio always wants to get onto that straight away. So when, I'd hop back, so I'd do all of that. The cold water really helped. And I would hop back into bed, still in my PJs. I'd prop myself up against the pillows and try to sound intelligent for the interview. And John used to walk past and quietly giggle, having seen me so dead to the world only 5 minutes before. And when I got off the phone, he loudly laughed and said, if only the listeners could see you now in your PJs. I can't believe to this day all those times I spoke on radio in my pajamas. It was just crazy when I look back. It didn't take me long, though, to realise I'd feel so much more professional and coherent. My brain would be working so much better if I at least put on a business blouse or at least half my work clothes for the day and felt the part rather than in my PJs. It was too relaxed still. I could wake up so much more if I did put on a bit of noise, doing all the running up and down and doing some major sprints sometimes around the garden, quickly get back and do it. But I needed to give myself time to actually even put on my clothes to feel the part as I was speaking, and it really did help with my alertness when I realised that. So preparation is important in the way you want to start your day and the way you want to finish your day. Jane's saying, I'm often in costume for work for kids' parties, so I like to shower and get out of the clothes as soon as I get home. I can understand that. You can't be a clown or do the do the whole face painting thing for yourself in costume. At home, you need to change your mood as well. So preparation is key here. And it's just like, it's important in the way you want to start your day and finish your day. It's just like the Olympians. They prepare well for the beginning of the race, the middle of the race, and the end. And they have the flexibility to change their game plan if they have to. So let's look now at mentally setting our intention. We've physically done those things the night before. What do we need to do mentally? Who of you already sets an intention in bed mentally just before you go off to sleep? What might that be? What intention might you set? What's your most common intention that you set? Just pop that in the chat box if you do set some intentions beforehand. If you're struggling to think about this, just simple examples will be, as you're lying in bed, I will wake up rested and energized to care for myself and others through the day. As simple as that. I will wake up rested and energized. What do you want to get out of your day? That's the intention that you speak the night before. You might say, I'll wake up rested and healthy and happy. Because rested, healthy, happy and energized, being refilled and refueled is what you want from your sleep, right? It's like sleep is there to refuel our bodies and to bring our minds to the best capacity that we can perform through the day. So you might say the night before, tomorrow I'm going to wake up living with abundance in my heart and my mind. If I sleep with words like this from my mouth, I'll wake up with them in my mouth, but also in my body and my heart. Because the research shows it's really interesting in the neuropathways, what you put through to your brain in the evening, just as you're wandering off to sleep, that gives power to your sleep and the way you wake up the next day. So you can project it out loud, not loud that's going to wake up anybody, but just to speak out those words. I'm going to wake up energized and living in abundance. This is how you create a powerful thought inside of you. It's not just positive thinking. It changes your neuro pathways, your actual nervous system, and it subdues your brain to actually let go of anything else from the day to focus on how you're going to sleep and wake up in the morning. So G, the next one, night, easy. And the next one is gratitude, G for gratitude for the day. So instead of thinking, oh, I didn't get this done, I didn't get that done, focus on all the things that you were grateful for through your day. Write 3 beautiful things that happened to you. Writing is really helpful if you can do that with a journal by your bedside, or just speak it out. You can speak that out to your partner. If you're living on your own, just speak that to yourself. I'm really grateful for that conversation I had with so-and-so. I'm really grateful for the garden I have. It gave me replenishment today, just even spending 10 minutes in it. Anything that you're grateful for, it's really helpful to actually express that to yourself and to the people that you love. Christine's saying, because of restless legs, I say sleep for the X amount of hours, and usually doesn't work as I manage 1.5 hours to 2 hours at a time, if lucky. Whoa, so that's difficult with restless legs and hard to just sleep for that amount of time before waking up again. So Christine, there are a number of apps that you can go to, sleep apps that might help, but I know that's really, really difficult with restless legs. So whether you share the bed with your partner or not, spreading positive energy and gratitude is part of your ultimate night routine. So individually, to just quietly say those things to yourself or journal it, start by looking at your journal and re-evaluate your events that you went through that day. That might help. Like just what you did and what was special and what you can be really grateful for in that. So even if you're just taking baby steps, progress is progress. If you just think of one thing that you were grateful for, whatever your current endeavors might be, ask yourself what you have done today to edge closer to your goal in getting, not just getting your things done, being productive, but your goal in being the person that you want to be the attributes that you want to exude out of yourself to be able to give to your loved ones. So write down a couple of bullet points and congratulate yourself for those achievements that you got through that day. They might be small, but they count. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, so just baby steps. And after rejoicing in your accomplishments, you can transmit that positive energy then to someone you love, whether it's your significant other, whether it's your parents, your children, or someone else. Sharing that positive attitude you built for yourself in being grateful will launch a new cycle of gratification. And the act of gratitude will then, in turn, further your own peace of mind and contribute to a good night's sleep. Christine's saying, after sleeping this way for 58 years, if I sleep really well, it takes till lunchtime to wake up properly. I'm used to functioning on minimal sleep. Well, you're fortunate to be able to do that, Christine. Like, that's a gratitude thing, but I know it must be a huge, huge struggle, because I know I need my 8 hours, and I'm even going for, I've had chronic fatigue through this year, so I will sleep 10 hours, but I'm not saying that that's great sleep, and that's why I've been working on a sleep routine, because what happens with chronic fatigue and you know, your struggle with restless legs, what happens with an illness is that it can affect our sleep greatly, and that's what I've found with the chronic fatigue. So it's being creative and looking at ways that can assist your well-being, and you're the only one who knows your body as best. You're the one who knows your body the best. But look out for those resources that can help you sleep, because I've found an amazing, there's Abide, there's Breathe is a beautiful app that helps with meditation, sleep, relaxation, all sorts of things that will subdue your mind before sleep and give you that really good mindset through the day as well. So H is for heal it away, okay? Heal it away. And I'm thinking, if there's lots of things that people have that aren't resolved in their lives, and that can be a problem for sleep as well. So you might want to write about any hurts that you have to help heal them away. Journal it. Don't push or repress those feelings away, because they're just going to come up. They're just going to resurface again. You can't, if you think you can bury them, you can't. They will come up. So it involves facing it so that they don't hang around lurking there. And if you acknowledge the pain that you're experiencing, if it's through a relationship, and accept it for now, when those feelings come up just as you're going to bed, when you're trying to sleep, if you can accept it as a feeling, but don't let it hover over you through your sleep. And there's many helpful exercises and meditations to help you with this too, to be able to support yourself in overcoming challenging thoughts and emotions that might keep you from sleeping. And one way is what's called the RAIN technique, R-A-I-N. And I think of it this way, that rain just gently pours, or gently just comes over you in a gentle, soothing way to help subdue those unwanted thoughts before bed and as you're trying to drift off to sleep. And so the R for RAIN stands for recognize. If you recognize the thought when it comes, if it's stopping you from sleeping, just say, hello, hello sadness, hello disappointment, I know you're there. And when you recognize it, you'll then be able to allow it. It's like you've greeted it without feeling push away, push away. You're actually acknowledging that it's there. And, you know, you're not inviting it to come in and have a 2-hour party with you, because it wouldn't be a party. But you're just saying, you're just greeting it, you're acknowledging it, and then allow it just for a minute. Just sit with the uncomfortable feeling, as in, you know, saying to it, it's okay that you're here. I accept that this is the way I'm feeling right now. And tomorrow, this is what you say to yourself, tomorrow I'll set aside time to investigate you further. So it's R for recognize, A for allow it, I for choosing to put that on the agenda for later. I'll investigate this further so I can move through it. Okay, so you're not denying it, you're not pushing it away, you're not repressing it, but you're actually just recognizing it, allowing it to be there for a minute or two, and then just let it go. You'll have the capacity to let it go when you give yourself the power to investigate it later on. And then the N, the last part of the rain, is spending a few minutes nourishing the special essence of you. Okay, reflect on your favorite thoughts. Choose calm, soothing thoughts and say that it's okay that I feel this way, it's understandable. What would you say to your very best friend at that time? Or your child when they're trying to get to sleep and they've got something disturbing or unsettling that's plaguing their thoughts? What are the kind things you would say to them? That's what you need to hear for yourself. So soothe your senses. This is the N for nourishing. Soothe your senses by, as I said, caressing your skin, those parts of your body that need soothing, and going to your safe place. I swim with dolphins when I go to sleep often. I've had that experience once of swimming with dolphins, and it was such a glorious experience. Unforgettable, indescribable, and I just find that so soothing, because dolphins are actually, the only way I could swim with dolphins, by the way, is because you might know that dolphins, they swim in pairs when they're asleep, and so so that one dolphin be here, one dolphin there, and their outside eye, the outside eye of each dolphin that swims in a pair are open, and they have their inside eyes closed to sleep. So they were swimming at a much slower pace than what they normally would if they were awake. And I knew this about dolphins. And so when I found these two dolphins as I was swimming, it was just so glorious. And I was fortunate that I could, I do love to swim, so I could keep up with them, just swimming behind them for probably about a minute and a half before, even whilst they were sleeping, they were faster than me. But I go to that safe place. I go there as I'm drifting off to sleep because it's so soothing. So what is your safe place as you're going to nourish yourself? And the last part is time, of our acronym for night in working out our sleep routines. Who of you has set the time that you aim for in getting to bed? Okay, do you have a set time? Alison, what time do you put on for your bedtime? I can pinpoint her. It's not going to embarrass her because she's my sister. Hey, Alison. So if you don't set a time to go to sleep, you will not get to sleep on time. Makes sense, doesn't it? So set a bedtime and stick to it. Try to get to bed at the same time each night. It will really help your biorhythms. So try to get to bed at the same time. Stick to that habitual habit of that habitual order of tasks before bed that we looked at, which will help you to trigger your body into a sleep state. So keep the lights soft. A lavender diffuser you might find helpful. And finally, once the lights are off, there's only one thing left to do, and that is shut your mind down. Take a step back and clear your mind. Get into your most comfortable sleeping position and take a mental step back and eliminate the last thoughts that might be wandering around. So when you start your day right and you end your day right, everything else will make sense. Time has memory, and that's why it's important to try and get to bed at a similar time each night. Location has energy. So try to do your routine at the same time and place, and it will be much more powerful for you. So home play on this session. Choose one habit from this session to take action on. What resonates for you right now? What's the one thing that resonated for you out of the night routine? What's one thing that resonated for you in particular? Choose just one thing to start with and put it in the chat box, and we can all learn from that. We're a wealth of wisdom here in this group. So what are you going to decide to take action on from the night routine that will make you move towards creating the ultimate evening routine? Jane's put gratitude. Good on you, Jane. Christine's put clear the mind. Love hearing the things that resonated for you and that you've appreciated the most out of this session. Keep putting them down. As you put it here, it gives you that sense of accountability. Just writing it down helps with the accountability of, I'm going to get this done. So go for it, people. And until next time, be courageous and let your light shine.